The Tragedy of King Richard II by William Shakespeare. Act 4, Scene 1, Westminster Hall. The Lords Spiritual on the right side of the throne, the Lords Temporal on the left, the Commons below. Enter Bolingbroke, O'Merle, Surrey, Northumberland, Henry Percy, Fitzwater, another Lord, the Bishop of Carlisle, the Abbot of Westminster, and attendants. Officers behind, with Bagot.
Call forth Bagot. Now, Bagot, freely speak thy mind. What thou dost know of noble Gloucester's death, who wrought with the king, and who performed the bloody office of his timeless end?
Then set before my face the Lord O'Merle.
Cousin, stand forth, and look upon that man.
My Lord O'Merle, I know your daring tongue scorns to unsay what once it hath delivered. In that dead time when Gloucester's death was plotted, I heard you say, Is not my arm of length, that reacheth from the restful English court as far as Calais to mine uncle's head? Amongst much other talk that very time, I heard you say that you had rather refuse the offer of 100,000 crowns than Bolingbroke's return to England, adding withal how blessed this land would be in this your cousin's death.
Princes and noble lords, what answer shall I give to this base man? Shall I so much dishonour my fair stars on equal terms to give him chastisement? Either I must, or have mine honour soiled with the attainder of his slanderous lips. There is my gage, the manual seal of death that marks thee out for hell. I say thou liest, and will maintain what thou hast said is false in thy heart blood, through being all too base to stain the temper of my knightly sword.
Bagot, forbear. Thou shalt not take it up.
Excepting one, I would he were the best in all this presence that hath moved me so.
If that thy valour stand on sympathies, there is my gage, O'Merle, engaged to thine. Be that fair sign which shows me where thou stand'st. I heard thee say, and vauntingly thou spakest it, that thou wert cause of noble Gloucester's death. If thou deniest it 20 times, thou liest, and I will turn thy falsehood to thy heart, where it was forged, with my rapier's point.
Thou darest not, coward, live to see that day.
Now, by my soul, I would it were this hour.
Fitzwater, thou art damned to hell for this.
O'Merle, thou liest. His honour is as true in this appeal as thou art unjust. And that thou art so, there I throw my gage, to prove it on thee to the extremest point of mortal breathing. Seize it if thou darest.
And if I do not, may my hands rot off, and never brandish more revengeful steel over the glittering helmet of my foe.
I task the earth to the like, forsworn O'Merle, and spur thee on with as many lies as may be hallowed in thy treacherous ear. From sun to sun, there is my honour's pawn. Engage it to the trial, if thou darest.
Who sets me else? By heaven, I'll throw it all. I have 1,000 spirits in one breast to answer 20,000 such as you.
My lord Fitzwater, I do remember well the very time O'Merle and you did talk.
'Tis very true. You were in presence then, and you can witness with me this is true.
As false by heaven as heaven itself is true.
Surrey, thou liest.
dishonorable boy. That lie shall lie so heavy on my sword, that it shall render vengeance and revenge, till thou, the lie-giver, and that lie do lie, in earth as quiet as thy father's skull, in proof whereof there is my honour's pawn. Engage it to the trial if thou darest.
How fondly dost thou spur a forward horse! If I dare eat or drink or breathe or live, I dare meet Surrey in a wilderness, and spit upon him, whilst I say he lies, and lies, and lies. There is my bond of faith to tie thee to my strong correction. As I intend to thrive in this world, Merrill is guilty of my true appeal. Besides, I heard the banished Norfolk say that thou, Merrill, didst send 2 of thy men to execute the noble Duke at Calais.
Some honest Christian trust me with a gage. That Norfolk dies, here do I throw down this, if he may be repealed to try his honour.
These differences shall all rest under gage, till Norfolk be repealed. Repealed he shall be, and though mine enemy, restored again to all his land and signories, when he is returned against a Merle, we will enforce his trial.
That honourable day shall ne'er be seen. Many a time hath banished Norfolk fought for Jesu Christ in glorious Christian field, streaming the ensign of the Christian cross against black pagans, Turks, and Saracens, and toiled with works of war retired himself to Italy, and there at Venice gave his body to that pleasant country's earth, and his pure soul unto his captain Christ, under whose colours he had fought so long.
Why, Bishop? Is Norfolk dead?
As surely as I live, my lord.
Sweet peace, conduct his sweet soul to the bosom of good old Abraham. Lords appellants, your differences shall all rest under gage, till we assign you to your days of trial.
Enter York, attended.
Great Duke of Lancaster, I come to thee from plume-plucked Richard, who with willing soul adopts thee heir, and his high sceptre yield to the possession of thy royal hand. Ascend his throne, descending now from him, and long live Henry, fourth of that name.
In God's name, I'll ascend the royal throne.
Marry, God forbid! Worst in this royal presence may I speak, yet best beseeming me to speak the truth. Would God that any in this noble presence were enough noble to be upright judge of noble Richard, then true noblesse would learn him forbearance from so foul a wrong. What subject can give sentence on his king? And who sits here that is not Richard's subject? Thieves are not judged, but they are by to hear, although apparent guilt be seen in them, and shall the figure of God's majesty, his captain, steward, deputy elect, anointed, crowned, planted many years, be judged by subject and inferior breath, and he himself not present? Oh, forfend it, God, that in a Christian climate souls refined should show so heinous, black, obscene a deed. I speak to subjects, and a subject speaks stirred up by God thus boldly for his king. My lord of Hereford here, whom you call king, is a foul traitor to proud Hereford's king, and if you crown him, let me prophesy the blood of English shall manure the ground, and future ages groan for this foul act. Peace shall go sleep with Turks and infidels, and in this seat of peace tumultuous war shall kin with kin and kind with kind confound. Disorder, horror, fear, and mutiny shall here inhabit, and this land be called the field of Golgotha and dead men's skulls. Oh, if you raise this house against this house, it will the wofullest division prove that ever fell upon this cursed earth. Prevent it. Resist it. Let it not be so, lest child's children cry against you woe!
Well have you argued, sir, and for your pains of capital treason we arrest you here. My Lord Westminster, be at your charge to keep him safely till his day of trial. May it please you, lords, to grant the common suit.
Fetch hither Richard, that in common view he may surrender. So we shall proceed without suspicion.
I will be his conduct.
Exit.
Lords, you that here are under our arrest, procure your sureties for your days of answer. Little are we beholding to your love, and little looked for at your helping hands.
Re-enter York with King Richard and officers, bearing the crown, etc.
Alack, why am I sent for to a king before I have shook off the regal thoughts wherewith I reigned? I hardly yet have learnt to insinuate, flatter, bow, and bend my knee. Give sorrow leave a while to tutor me to this submission. Yet I well remember the favours of these men. Were they not mine? Did they not sometime cry, All hail! to me? So Judas did to Christ, but he, in 12, found truth in all but one. I, in 12,000, none. God save the King. Will no man say Amen? Am I both priest and clerk? Well then, Amen. God save the King, although I be not he, and yet Amen, if heaven do think him me. To do what service am I sent for hither?
To do that office of thine own good will, which tired majesty did make thee offer. The resignation of thy state and crown to Henry Bolingbroke.
Give me the crown. Here, cousin, seize the crown. Here, cousin, on this side my hand, and on that side thine. Now is this golden crown like a deep well that owes 2 buckets, filling one another, the emptier ever dancing in the air, the other down, unseen, and full of water. That bucket down and full of tears am I, drinking my griefs, while you mount up on high.
I thought you had been willing to resign.
My crown I am, but still my griefs are mine. You may my glories and my state depose, but not my griefs, still am I king of those.
Part of your cares you give me with your crown.
Your cares set up, do not pluck my cares down. My care is loss of care, by old care done. Your care is gain of care, by new care won. The cares I give, I have, though given away. They tend the crown, yet still with me they stay.
Are you contented to resign the crown?
I? No, no, I, for I must nothing be. Therefore, no, no, for I resign to thee. Now mark me how I will undo myself. I give this heavy weight from off my head, and this unwieldy sceptre from my hand, the pride of kingly sway from out my heart. With mine own tears I wash away my balm. With mine own hands I give away my crown. With mine own tongue deny my sacred state. With mine own breath release all duteous rights. All pomp and majesty I do forswear. My manners, rents, revenues I forego, my acts, decrees, and statutes I deny. God pardon all oaths that are broke to me. God keep all vows unbroke that are made to thee. Make me that nothing have, with nothing grieved, and thou with all pleased that hath all achieved. Long mayest thou live in Richard's seat to sit, and soon lie Richard in an earthly pit. God save King Henry, unkinged Richard says, and send him many years of sunshine days. What more remains?
No more, but that you read these accusations, and these grievous crimes committed by your person and your followers against the state and profit of this land, that by confessing them the souls of men may deem that you are worthily deposed.
Must I do so? And must I ravel out my weaved-up follies? Gentle Northumberland, if thy offences were upon record, would it not shame thee in so fair a troop to read a lecture of them? If thou wouldst, there shouldst thou find one heinous article containing the deposing of a king and cracking the strong warrant of an oath, marked with a blot damned in the book of heaven. Nay, all of you that stand and look upon me, whilst that my wretchedness doth bate myself, though some of you with Pilate wash your hands, showing an outward pity, yet you Pilates have here delivered me to my sour cross, and water cannot wash away your sin.
My lord, dispatch! Read all these articles.
Mine eyes are full of tears, I cannot see, and yet salt water blinds them not so much but that they can see a sort of traitors here. Nay, if I turn mine eyes upon myself, I find myself a traitor with the rest, for I have given here my soul's consent to undeck the pompous body of a king, made glory base, and sovereignty a slave, proud majesty a subject, state a peasant.
My lord!
No lord of thine, thou haught-insulting man, nor no man's lord. I have no name, no title, no, not that name was given me at the font, but 'tis usurped, alack the heavy day, that I have worn so many winters out, and know not now what name to call myself. Oh, that I were a mockery king of snow, standing before the sun of Bolingbroke, to melt myself away in water drops. Good king, great king, and yet not greatly good, and if my word be sterling, yet, in England, let it command a mirror hither straight, that it may show me what a face I have, since it is bankrupt of his majesty.
Go, some of you, and fetch a looking-glass.
Exit an attendant.
Read all this paper while the glass doth come.
Fiend, thou torment'st me ere I come to hell.
Urge it no more, my lord Northumberland.
The commons will not then be satisfied.
They shall be satisfied. I'll read enough, when I do see the very book indeed where all my sins are writ, and that's myself.
Re-enter attendant with glass.
Give me that glass, and therein will I read. No deeper wrinkles yet? Hath sorrow struck so many blows upon this face of mine, and made no deeper wounds? O flattering glass! Like to my followers in prosperity, thou dost beguile me. Was this face the face that every day under his household roof did keep 10,000 men? Was this the face that like the sun did make beholders wink? Is this the face which faced so many follies, that was at last outfaced by Bolingbroke? A brittle glory shineth in this face, as brittle as the glory is the face.
Dashes the glass against the ground.
For there it is, cracked in 100 shivers. Mark, silent king, the moral of this sport, how soon my sorrow hath destroyed my face.
The shadow of your sorrow hath destroyed the shadow of your face.
Say that again. The shadow of my sorrow. Ha! Let's see. 'Tis very true. My grief lies all within, and these external manner of laments are merely shadows to the unseen grief that swells with silence in the tortured soul. There lies the substance, and I thank thee, King, for thy great bounty, that not only givest me cause to wail, but teachest me the way how to lament the cause. I'll beg one boon, and then be gone, and trouble you no more. Shall I obtain it?
Name it, fair cousin.
Fair cousin, I am greater than a king, for when I was a king, my flatterers were then but subjects. Being now a subject, I have a king here to my flatterer. Being so great, I have no need to beg.
Yet ask.
And shall I have?
You shall.
Then give me leave to go.
Whither?
Whither you will, so I were from your sight.
Go, some of you convey him to the tower.
Oh, good! Convey? Conveyors are you all, that rise thus nimbly by a true king's fall.
Exeunt King Richard and guard.
On Wednesday next, we solemnly set down our coronation. Lords, prepare yourselves.
Exeunt all but the Bishop of Carlisle, the Abbot of Westminster, and O'Merle.
A woeful pageant have we here beheld.
The woes to come. The children yet unborn shall feel this day as sharp to them as thorn.
You holy clergyman, is there no plot to rid the realm of this pernicious blot?
My lord, before I freely speak my mind herein, you shall not only take the sacrament to bury mine intents, but also to effect whatever I shall happen to devise. I see your brows are full of discontent, your hearts of sorrow, and your eyes of tears. Come home with me to supper. I will lay, our plot shall show us all a merry day.
Exeunt. End of Act 4, Scene 1, and end of Act 4.